Hello, my name is Mr. Cube 7 and this is part 3 of the Windows 2000 PC build. This part is just for fun. I'm not being serious throughout most of this. If I am, I'll say it. It's just I wanted to do some stupid stuff because that's what I'm good at. Now for input, because input is the most important part of gaming, you gotta be able to touch things, to do things. Most people use an RGB keyboard and mouse, all fancy and stuff. Me, personally, I like to use one of these. It's a clickety clackety keyboard that uses a connector that isn't found on PCs nowadays. So that's what I like to use. You can also use a Game Boy Advance. You just plug it in with this USB cable and you're ready to game. Oh yeah. Another input option that there is a Sega Genesis controller. You got your D-pad, you got your ABC, you got your turbo buttons for cheating. But the only downside is that it plugs in with this VGA looking connector, and so you gotta choose. You gotta choose Sega Genesis controller or the internet cable, which I mean, who needs internet? It's overrated. The last input option that I can think of, or wait, before that, the one input option that actually isn't a joke is a PC gamepad. You got your D-pad, you got your unlabeled but colored buttons, and it plugs in with the now obsolete controller port that you could find on sound cards for some reason. That's why when you put a controller port on a sound card. And you got your forward buttons, you got your D-pad, and you can't use it nowadays, but hey, you can plug it into this machine. The last input or wait, one more. I keep forgetting. There's so many input options. You're really not limited in any way, shape, or form on this computer. Next one is a Wii balance board. How do you connect to the computer? Magic. You really don't connect to the computer. So it uses Bluetooth, and even if I plugged the Bluetooth dongle in, I doubt it would work. But hey, thought I'd include it. The final, and I'm not joking this time, it really is final input option for this computer would be, once I untangle the cords, Thomas the Tank Engine. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. With a joystick and a whole one button, you can use Thomas the Tank Engine to control your machine. Now, the way you plug it into the computers with these two connectors, whatever they're called, who knows. But the weird thing about this is the computer actually doesn't have any of these on it. So you need one of these bad boys, which has, oh, again, the internet and controller looking port thingy, but the port that you plug with this white cable, you plug that in, and then bam, you've plugged in your computer. This plugs into the motherboard. And there you go. You can control your computer with Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, if you're wondering, how do I store games? Because, the computer has a hard drive that's busy being taken up by all my cool drawings I made in MS Paint. Well, the way you do that is there's two options. You can either use floppy disks, which are the brand new tech. They're super blazing fast. They work 100% until you drop them on the floor. And they got a whole 1.4 megabytes of space each. Or if you're a big spender, you got lots of spare money, you can use one of these, which is a hard drive but on a card, and it's a pain in the butt to get it to work and to fit in computers because it is stupidly long. This has a whole 20 megabytes of storage on it. That's a lot. Now let's say you want to call your friends on your PC. Like, you got your brand new iPhone 2, and you're gonna go dial up your friends and then call them. Well, you can't, is the simple answer. So I took out the dial-up card. If you did have a dial-up card and a landline, you could get dial-up internet, which is super cool, and call your friends. And I bet now you're thinking, well, what games can you play on it besides, like Chuzzle and Roller Coaster Tycoon? Well, you could play the brand new Sonic game, Sonic and Knuckles 3, with this new lock-on technology. And with the lock-on technology, put one of the best Sonic games ever made, Sonic 3 Blast, in it, and then play as Sonic in a Sonic game. If you're not really a Sonic fan, because, everybody has their own things, you could play the newest Super Smash Bros. Game with yet another Fire Emblem character, because they keep on adding them. Why? Why? Stop it. But you could play that if you wanted to. And you could just plug Thomas the Tank Engine back in, and play that plugged into the completely wrong device. But you do you. And let's say you wanted to listen to some music. Can you listen to music like this cool Zelda music? Well, the answer is no, because the sound doesn't work for whatever reason. Tried 3 different CDs, none of them worked. Now, let's say that you don't you don't want to run Windows 2000. For some reason, you just have an issue with it. Well, so I move the camera back over because I bumped it. You have a few options of running different operating systems. You're not just limited to, Windows 2000. You could go with this cool thing called Windows Millennium Edition with this really wacky disk. Now, Windows Millennium Edition sucks. It's a complete downgrade because when you plug in a monitor, the computer crashes. Because why wouldn't it? Let's say you're not really into Windows. What if you like, I don't know, Mac OS? You can't install Mac OS on it for what I hope is obvious reasons. Because this isn't a Mac. It's a old PC. So, yeah, Mac OS, install it. Go ahead. I don't care. Do whatever you want. You're you. Now, let's say that you do install Mac OS, but you're like, wait a minute, Mac OS can only be installed on Macs. This is piracy. And then the Apple police bust down your door and they're like, hands up, we saw you. You're running Mac OS on not a Mac. We're gonna get you. Well, that's fine. Just take your nearest local bottle of 91% isopropyl alcohol and then just down the entire thing. Then they'll catch you, but you don't have to suffer any consequences because you can't feel anything anymore. Cool. Now let's say that it was just your birthday and your friends got you a bunch of Steam gift cards. Like you got showered in money. Say you wanted to upgrade your PC. I know, very exciting. Let's say first you get a new CPU. You know, like one of these, brand new, is got a whole 1 core, goes to 3.2 gigahertz. Yeah, it's very fast. But the sad part is you look on this side and you're like, oh, that doesn't fit in the motherboard. Like it doesn't go in. So then you're like, fine, I'll upgrade something else because the CPU isn't compatible. So then you go and you get yourself some new RAM. Like, man, I'm gonna slot this new RAM in the motherboard. It's gonna be so cool. I can open a whole nother Chrome tab, even though Chrome doesn't run. The thing is though, is that you can't put new RAM in it. She's like, okay. Go return the RAM, get your money back. What if I put a new graphics card in? You see there's a lot of options. There's lots of graphics cards. So first you pick up this one. And this is the same card that's actually in it, except it uses AGP instead of PCI. And it won't fit because the motherboard doesn't have any AGP ports because AGP wasn't a thing. And then you go and like, okay, if I'm going to spend money on upgrading my PC, I gotta go big. I gotta go huge. I gotta go so large that nothing else can top it. So you go and you purchase one of these, an RTX 2070 Super. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing Minecraft at so many frames a second. It's gonna be crazy. And then you realize though that the drivers, the thing that makes the PC work, that makes the graphics card work, they don't make drivers. Like, it's too new. It's too fancy. So get that out of here. Go get your money back. And then, okay. You buy this Quadro FX 1800. Got a fan on it. It has these ports. You're like, okay, this has drivers. This will work. But oh wait, what's that? This connector? Yeah, the computer doesn't have that. It's too new. So guess what? You want to upgrade the computer? You can't. That's the great thing about it. Is if you want if you want to put anything that's new in it, you have to go and you have to buy lots of parts. Like pretty much the entire system you have to replace to get, like, okay, yes, I want to put new CPU. Oh, guess what? Even though it's the same socket, motherboard chipset's too old. Even though you gotta get new motherboard, new RAM for the new motherboard, new power supply, so that because your motherboard, your old one had a 4-pin CPU power, this one has 8. Like, oh wait, gotta get new power supply too. And it's like, oh yes, I have to upgrade lots of stuff to upgrade one thing. So that's pretty cool. I'm done ranting. I hope you liked this video.